Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Mended Hearts Inc. 2025 Annual Meeting of the Membership. Please note that all attendees are in listen-only mode. If you cannot hear, please check the computer audio and volume. That's often a problem. To ask questions, enter them into the chat box to have your question entered for the town hall. We will have a period of question and answer at the end of the meeting. And note that the session is being recorded and will be available along with a PDF of the slide deck on the website.
Good evening. My name is Fred Galleri. I'm a member of the Board of Directors, and I will be presiding over the meeting. I now call to order. Before you have the agenda. At this time, I'd like a motion to approve.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
The agenda is approved. Before you, you have the details of the adoption of the standing rule. I need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
And I need a vote. Okay, it's been adopted. Okay, before you, you see the adoption of the committee of the House. Again, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. And a vote. Okay, the vote is approved. Okay, as I mentioned, my name is Fred Galleri, and I will be given the 2025 President's Report for the Board of Directors. Before you, you have the Board of Directors. You have Mr. Adam Weiss, who's President and Chair, myself, Fred Galleri, Ms. Paula Miller, and on the right is our CEO, Natalie Crawford. Some key things about the board recently is we have three new members, as I just covered. In the late fall, we approved the 2026 budget. In late fall, we conducted a CEO succession process where we interviewed two candidates to serve as CEO in training, starting in July of 26, in January of 26, I'm sorry, to assume the CEO role at the end of the calendar year when Mr. Voss was retiring. We selected Natalie Crawford as CEO in training, and she onboarded in January of 26. She completed all the employment compliance onboarding requirements and joined MHI. In May, due to Mr. Voss's early retirement, we appointed Ms. Crawford as CEO. And then in June, the board put together and offered a long-term employment agreement to Mrs. Crawford, and she has agreed and the board has agreed. So we have completed that to provide stability for the organization. Some key things coming up is the board and the CEO will work very collaboratively together. One, to strengthen our financial oversight, operational clarity, and chapter support. And two, maintain a strong focus on donor stewardship, grant performance, and employee engagement throughout the leadership transitions. Before you, you have the Mended Hearts Inc. staff. You'll take a minute, look at that. Okay, next, I turn it over to Ms. Crawford for the treasurer report.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to join you for our annual meeting of the membership, and in my role as corporate treasurer, I want to share a high-level financial overview of MHI's 2025 activities. The purpose of this report is to give members a clear summary of the organization's financial performance and the resources that supported our mission throughout the year. One number that I want to highlight for the membership is that 83% of every dollar that came into MHI programs went into MHI programs, including support, education, and advocacy. Here at the corporate offices, we are bullish about the work of this organization and the need for the three core tenets of the work that we do: support, education, and advocacy for our patient communities. It's important to note, as I go through the next few slides, that the financial information is not yet audited, so this should be understood as preliminary. But this snapshot gives us a useful picture of the previous year. As you can see, MHI's corporate budget is balanced as to assets and liabilities. The final audited statements will remain the formal financial record, but wanted to give you guys that picture. Looking to our income and expense by month, as we review these numbers, the main point is stewardship. MHI's members, volunteers, donors, and partners expect that resources be directed towards mission impact. And this report helps show how funds were used across the organization. As you can see, the greatest investment of MHI is in our staff who carry out the corporate mission each and every day, supporting our chapters, volunteers, and developing and delivering our patient education programs, and helping us ensure that our policy and patient advocacy work is effective, both at the state and federal levels. Finally, looking at our balance sheet for 2025, you'll see we operated under a balanced budget with approximately $2.7 million in assets, balanced against $2.7 million in liabilities. Again, these numbers are not yet audited. The board and staff will continue working through the financial review process to ensure the organization's records are accurate, complete, and useful for decision making going forward. And I will now turn it to Lisa for our chapter and group report.
MHI has 8 regions. That hasn't changed throughout the United States. We have a total of 145 active chapters and satellites throughout those regions in 2025. Some of the highlights for Mended Hearts is there were 1,432 chapter meetings and events held. Over 31,000 pieces of chapter information given to patients. Over 69,000 discussion guides distributed by our chapters, either at the bedside or through cardiac rehab. And then over 400 local chapter leaders. We had 4 chapters and 2 satellites formed in 2025, and 15 of our chapters disbanded. For Mended Little Heart groups, throughout 2025, we had 40 total. Some of their highlights are over 3,000 Gregory bags delivered to hospitals for the kiddos that need them. Nearly 3,500 comfort items given. 839 stuffed stitch lions donated. 53 angel boxes. 865 courageous heart tokens given out. And almost 4,500 toy chest and activity items handed out. No groups were formed in 2025, and we did have 4 disbanded. Young Mended Heart stats. We had 2 active groups in 2025. Young Men at Hearts of Northwest Washington. And Young Men at Hearts of New England, so we covered both coasts pretty well. None were formed and none were disbanded. And I'll hand it over to Natalie for the statement, goals and partnerships report.
Thank you, Lisa. It's my pleasure to talk a little bit about our organizational statements, our goals, and to share a little bit in terms of our partners. MHI's mission remains very clear: to inspire hope and improve quality of life for cardiovascular disease patients and their families through ongoing peer-to-peer support network, support, education, and advocacy. That mission is what makes our organization distinct. Our vision is broad, but the work is personal. It happens when a patient or caregiver realizes that they're not alone. So when we look to our educational, our organizational statements, these three statements describe how MHI fulfills its mission. Education helps patients and families make better decisions. Support creates meaningful connection and reduces isolation. And advocacy gives patients and families a stronger voice in the decisions that affect their care and quality of life. Looking at the goals that were established in the current strategic plan and thinking about these goals, I want to acknowledge that the 2025 and prior results reflect work that was performed before I joined MHI. As y'all know, I was not CEO last year, and I was not yet even part of this organization. My role today really is to present to you the results with appreciation for those who carried the work forward and to connect that work to where MHI is headed next. As we look forward, we'll maintain the strategic goals that are outlined here and indeed look for additional ways to grow MHI's reach and impact. This slide is a good reminder that Mended Hearts does not do this work alone. It also reminds us that if you ever wondered whether it takes a village to support heart patients and families, apparently it takes a village, a few coalitions, several hospitals, some very dedicated and committed patient volunteers, and a slide full of logos. We are very grateful for our ongoing collaborations and partnerships. And with that, I'll turn it to Mandy to talk to us a little bit about the programs we do, often with those collaborations and partnerships.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and talk about what we as staff spend so much time on every year, and that's our 2025 programs. So ecstatic about the fact that we continue to grow. Our membership was up to 127,000 members last year, and we reached over 24 million people through our marketing campaigns, our social media, and our awareness campaigns. Last year marked our 74th year of supporting patients and families, and we had 187 chapters and groups throughout the country who were key to helping us do that. Some excellent numbers from our visiting program, My Heart Visit. We had over 200,000 total visits last year and 515 dedicated visitors who did those visits. They saw 58,000 patients, and they made almost 58,000 in-person visits at the hospitals they serve in. We were able to support 23,540 family and caregivers, and we made over 40,000 virtual visits. What great work. We did 28 Facebook chats where people were supported online, and then our staff did 12 virtual visitor reaccreditation trainings, one a month. So thank you to all the visitors on this slide who helped make this possible. Our support Welcome Home Heart Failure program now has gone beyond the US and spread to Europe and Ireland and now France. And over here in the US, we did 391 registrants last year. which meant 9,384 emails of support and education were sent. And we had welcome home heart failure visitors who made 2,346 phone calls. And there are not a lot of those visitors, so true, round of applause to those folks. Our Welcome Home Heart Failure program gave birth to our Welcome Home Hypertrophic Cardiomyopathy program, which also continued to support those patients living with that very specific type of heart disease. And they received phone calls and emails as well. And then our Mended Little Hearts families received the Welcome Home Congenital Heart Disease, CHD, and we're able to match families up by congenital heart defect so they can truly get that one-on-one support. So 3 great programs. We've also tried to expand our Spanish resources. We want to be able to provide support in multiple languages, and so Spanish is how we begin that. In terms of support, we are able to do telephone and email support in Spanish now. We have a virtual support group that meets out of California monthly, and we have a Facebook group that's in Spanish as well. So trying to do everything we can. In terms of education, we now have a marketing brochure and membership form in Spanish. We have a Heart Healthy Spanish recipe book, and we have shared decision-making guides on ASCVD, cholesterol, FH, and Lp(a). We've got a bunch of resources on hypertrophic cardiomyopathy in Spanish, and both our Mended Little Hearts and Mended Hearts Heart Guide resources are available in Spanish. Our Empower Education program truly, illustrates our dedication as an organization to support patients living with all types of cardiovascular disease and related conditions. You can see the programs that we have up there. And so really when we educate in a certain area, it falls under the Empower umbrella. And, this will just continue to grow and strengthen. We did a lot of work in 2025 around Empowered Transplant. We had all those discussion guides put out, 6 of them. We did 3 webinars, and we did a whiteboard that launched our Live Longer, Feel Better LVAD campaign. It was our first whiteboard, and it will serve as a driver for others as well. In terms of virtual education, we did 8 different webinars on a variety of topics. We did 16 different videos, and we had 422 patients and caregivers and members attend those educational webinars. We don't stop there though. All of those webinars go on our YouTube channel. They're available for people to watch as evergreen content. And we had another 10,500 views of our webinars on YouTube, totaling 3,500 hours of learning. We'd like to thank all of the patients and expert speakers who were on those webinars. We couldn't do it without their expertise and their willingness to share what they've been through. Educational materials, we put out 10 new discussion guides. And as Lisa mentioned earlier, we printed and shipped for free almost 70,000 of those guides to chapters and groups and hospitals around the country. Some of those are on the board there. Some of our favorites: Obesity in Your Heart, Preparing for the Transplant Journey, the LVAD and Transplant, brand new materials that we've never been able to do before. And happy to say we were able to put that information out there. Communications. We have now grown our connections in a heartbeat to over 30,000 different members who are able to get on there, support each other, and offer advice and sharing of journeys. We won 1 award last year for Heartbeat Magazine. That was a Communicator Award of Excellence, so congratulations. And thank you to our publisher, Madison Miles, who helps us with that. We put out 12 national newsletters to all of our members, and we did another 12 chapter newsletters that we send out to be sent out as is, or they can be edited and sent out in the way that the chapter wants to. And then we did 12 Action Network newsletters. And that newsletter focuses on policy updates, legislative updates, and is a nice little picture every month into what's going on with our advocacy pillar. Share Your Heart. While we know, as I'm sure you know, we run 2 different campaigns every year. Share Your Heart is for both people with acquired heart disease and congenital heart disease. It's a fantastic way to share what people are going through in their journey. through photos, and they are voted on by popularity online. And these are some of our winners up here on the screen. Just truly embody what MHI is all about. And then Rock Your Scar last year was in its 11th year. Those are some of our winners. They're a little bit different than Share Your Heart. They are for people who are living with congenital heart disease, all the way up. We have baby category all the way up to 40 plus. And they are judged by some judges that we've had on board for a few years now. So we couldn't do it without those judges either. But we 115,000 votes, 446,000 contest views, and almost 650 photo entries. So they're fantastic. And now I would like to talk about our third pillar, very important, our advocacy report. We did a lot last year. These are some of our priorities. By no means are they all of our priorities. We work on numerous ones. Those are just some of the ones that we prioritize. So the Accelerating Kids Access to Care Act, the Inflation Reduction Act for improving drug development, Medicare coverage and weight loss, pharmacy benefit manager reform, and importantly, the Safe Step Act. And how do we do this? Well, some of the ways we train and engage our advocacy champions. We advance collaborations within the cardiovascular community. As Natalie pointed out, that very important slide of our partnerships, a lot of those help us with our advocacy efforts. Grassroots advocacy, those are our leaders and members on the ground who are working every day in the shared decision making and helping you understand the importance of empowered patients. Policy, strategy, and communication, and then direct government relations. So when we go to the Hill in DC or we go to the state level, that's some of the work being done in that area. Last year, we informed and empowered 225 advocates. We reached over 282,000 potential advocates with our work. On our Hill Day, we met with 38 different congressional members, and we sent out an additional 38 packages after those meetings to follow up and make sure they don't forget who MHI is. And then we would be remiss without mentioning and thanking our Action Network sponsors. Without their support, we would be unable to do a lot of what we did in 2025 and continue to do this year in 26. So thank you. Now I'm just going to quickly review our standing committee reports, starting with our nominating committee. We'd like to thank Jessica Allen and Meryl Glassman for their help as committee members. Their activity last year, they really spent most of their time reviewing nominations for candidates for the MHI Board of Directors. They interviewed those candidates and then they made a selection and recommendation. They did the same for the office of MHI President. They reviewed nominations, they interviewed for the office, and then they selected and recommended a candidate. And just like to thank them. Their term expires today, June 26th. Our bylaws committee members Jen Angelone, Lisa Goodman, Glenn Kelly, Lee Parker, and Denise Duke-Witzkowski, thank you for your time and your dedication. And our attorney, Jim Griffin. The bylaws committee did not meet last year, and their term expired at the end of 2025. Our medical advisory council, we are grateful to all of these experts. We know how busy they are, and yet they make time in their day to review our resources, make sure what we're putting out there is medically accurate. And so they helped us review 10 different discussion guides last year. They participated as an expert speaker, one of them in a webinar, and another person was interviewed for a heartbeat article. And so thank you to everyone on the screen for helping us be who we are. And lastly, want to thank our corporate advisory council. Our council met 4 times last year. 3 of those meetings were online. 1 was in person. This is a fantastic group of partners. They believe in MHI's mission. They believe in the work. They believe in our volunteers. And we couldn't do what we do without you. So on behalf of all the staff, we'd like to thank. And I'm going to turn it back to Natalie for her CEO report.
Thank you, Mandy. Our 2025 CDO report highlights the scope of the organizational impact that we have. I want to move through these slides with 2 lenses. First, what the organization accomplished in 2025, and second, how those accomplishments create a foundation for the work ahead of us. As we've already acknowledged, I didn't have the privilege of being part of the organization in 2020. We nevertheless accomplished some pretty spectacular things. MHI trained 225 advocate speakers, produced more than 3,500 hours of public learning, printed and distributed more than 69,000 discussion guides, and distributed 12,737 Mended Little Hearts bravery bags, toy chest items, and comfort items. These numbers show a practical and direct service to patients, families, and advocates. MHI also maintained a significant communications and engagement footprint in 2025. More than 75,000 people followed MHI across social media, with a total reach of nearly 24 million. MHI visitors completed more than 203,000 visits. The Action Network reached more than 282,000 potential advocates, and Connections in a Heartbeat included more than 30,000 members, demonstrating that MHI's reach extends well beyond any single meeting, chapter, or program. Members provided services and outreach in more than 650 hospitals, and they conducted 203,226 visits to patients, caregivers, and family members. And this is truly the heart of MHI. The numbers are certainly impressive, but the deeper point is that each visit represents someone receiving encouragement, information, and connection during a vulnerable time. I also want to note the size and breadth of the MHI network. The organization's membership has grown substantially since 2018, reaching more than 127,000 members across 73 countries. Mended Hearts represents the largest share of our membership, followed then by Mended Little Hearts and Young Mended Hearts. As we look ahead, the priority is not just size, but engagement, consistency, and ensuring that members and volunteers have the support they need to serve well. MHI's chapter, group, and satellite structure remains central to how the mission reaches people locally. In 2025, the organization reported 187 chapters, groups, and satellites, including Mended Hearts chapters and satellites, Mended Little Hearts groups, and Young Mended Hearts groups. Going forward, we need to strengthen this structure to make it easier for volunteers and ensure chapters and groups have clear tools, training, and operational support. Now in our 75th year, and as we look ahead, my focus as the new CEO is on strengthening the core of MHI. Our U.S. chapters, groups, satellites, volunteers, members, and hospital partnerships. The numbers we've shared with you today are certainly meaningful, but behind every number is a patient, a caregiver, a family member, or volunteer who chose to show up. Our responsibility now is to make that work easier and to sustain, easier to sustain and stronger for the future. That means modernizing how we support patients and families, expanding education and digital connection, and giving our volunteers clearer tools, training, and operational support. We'll also continue to support the long-term international vision through the foundation. But MHI's immediate priority is clear: strengthening the organization here at home so that we can better serve our members, volunteers, chapters, and communities. And with that, we'll open for town hall questions.
Peter in the chat box wants to know, what is the age range for Young Mended Hearts?
Y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm still learning all of my organizational MHI history and trivia, but for Young Mended Hearts, it's for those who are over age 18 up to 60, I believe. 55, I stand corrected. Great question. What other questions do we have?
Just wanna give it a minute for folks to finish typing, we don't have anything else.
Sure.
Oh, we have another one that popped up in the chat. How many of the chapters hold in-person meetings and how many do online meetings? It's hard to.
I have to rely on my team here for that, but I think it's about half that have in-person versus online meetings. And if you are looking, Kenneth, for a specific area to answer that question better, please let us know. Thank you, John. In 2022. And then what are the other two questions there, Lisa?
Is someone going to be assigned to lead a new chapter creation initiative?
George, that's a great question. And how I'll answer that is I'll be the first one to take on that initiative. What I anticipate starting as we move into the summer is a listening tour of our current chapters to understand those that have great engagement and are what we consider more of our stronger chapters. What is it that holds you together, that helps you keep the strength of that chapter, as well as listening to chapters that may be struggling to establish incoming leadership for those who are ready to transition out. So we'll start with a listening tour so that we know what works versus what doesn't work. And then we will work on an initiative to begin looking at new chapters. But it is absolutely part of my goal that we see some strength and growth in terms of our chapters and groups. Boy, we got a lot coming in now.
Yes, we do. That just started. Can our corporate sponsors be leveraged to gain connections with additional hospital or pitching them to start more chapters? John Frank.
Good question, John. I think what I would share is that I think any idea is on the table to think about strengthening our chapters and strengthening our hospital partnerships. So would love to talk with you more about what you're thinking. I know that our corporate sponsors, one of the things that they love about us is the uniqueness of this organization is our chapter and group model. So I'd love to talk to you more. I think all options are on the table for us to consider there.
Any chance of appointing or electing regional directors?
Again, I think, for me, the focus moving through this next year is to think about how we strengthen our chapter and group model across the board. And part of that is looking towards, having those regional directors in place. So I again, would welcome a conversation with you, Bob, as we talk about that more moving forward.
Has a timeline been established for the return of our bank cards?
I can't say there has been a timeline established. What I can tell you, again, as we think about the partnership between our chapters and groups and the national model, is that, we need to strengthen what that looks like from the national standpoint down to the chapter and group standpoint. And what I want all of our chapters and groups to know is that we are here as essentially the central nervous system of this organization, but do not take it all for granted that our chapters and groups are what make us unique, and help us to achieve our impact on a local level. So, I don't want to take up a ton of our Q&A time talking about policies and procedures as it relates to banks and financials, but certainly happy to talk to you about that more in person.
Kenneth Williams says, I saw the online meetings on the webpage. Are there in-person meetings to be found on the webpage as well?
I'm going to defer to the team.
We have a list of in-person meetings. Tell them to email info and I'll send it to the list.
Okay. We do maintain a list of in-person meetings. If you will shoot an email over to info@MHI, we'll make sure to get that list to you.
Elise Roy wants to know, does Young Men at Hearts of New England have in-person support groups? And they only do virtual.
They are only virtual, Elise. But cast your vote for in person. I want to look at ways to grow. What else do we have?
In here from YMH.
Hi, Jim.
We do try to coordinate in-person meetups whenever we can.
Janet Angelone wants to share that they try to coordinate in-person meetups whenever possible. Thank you for sharing that. What other questions do you guys have for us?
Timeline for new website delivered. This is a run over from leadership call. We are looking at end of Q3, early Q4.
Good question, Harry, and good to see you on the call. We are, I can tell you, I've just recently got more engaged in that project. We're going through final review now, so we're looking at end of this quarter, early Q4, I'm sorry, end of Q3, early Q4 to have the new website up and running.
We got a kudos in the
I'd love to see this. I can't read the name, I'm sorry. Who was it?
Knutson.
Jean, thank you so much for the kudos for the team. We have a wonderful, wonderful team here at MHI headquarters, and a big round of applause for Celeste and Jasmine. Thank you so much. Any other questions? When will the visitor training videos be accessible again?
They're as fast as we can.
As quickly as we can have them ready. We are working on getting those up. What's that question, Lisa?
Although this might be an overall question for the Young Men at Hearts groups, what seems to be the recurring themes among low membership last year?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and maybe one better saved for some of this listening tour that we plan to have. And I would love, to convene a number of you chapter and group leaders to talk about these very things. And I will tell you that what we learned here at MHI Corporate regarding what works and what doesn't work, we will be sure to share out with all of you as well. I think is that all the time we have? We got one more. Okay.
In the Q&A, Bill and Carol Stark would like for you to expand a little on the expansion to Europe.
Absolutely, appreciate the question. So again, I want to share that our main focus and looking ahead this year, and really our responsibility, is to ensure that our U.S. chapters groups, our satellites, our volunteers, our partners have in us the partnership that they need and the support that they need, to support this work. That means at MHI Corporate ensuring that we are looking at strengthening our funding to grow and deepen our educational programs, the resources that we're able to provide to you all for your peer-to-peer support, your visiting programs, and to strengthen our advocacy. In terms of growing our footprint globally, absolutely, we continue to have a vested interest in MHE, Men at Hearts Europe, and Men at Hearts International Foundation. Indeed, there would be no Men at Hearts Europe or International Foundation without the legacy Men at Hearts brand. And so we're having a vested interest in that success, and will continue to support that long-term international vision to grow the footprint of the work that has been so successful here in the United States. And again, I'd be happy to talk with you all more about that when we have more time. I'm happy to set up an individual call, leadership call, to carry you more through that vision and what that looks like on a go-forward basis. Is that one more question I see before we move into the end?
It sounds like you plan to visit chapters. Any consideration to having a leadership meeting at headquarters similar to the one several years ago?
John, I would love to do that. I think, first what we want to do is get through a little bit of a listening tour. Some of that, of course, will be virtual. I do want to visit chapters where I can, making sure that we're being good stewards of the resources we here have at MHI corporate. But again, I think all of that's on the table. What it comes down to is making sure that whatever we do, bringing our leaders together in person for a leadership meeting or conference, that we do it in a way that ensures we're being good stewards over the resources that we have, and allow you to do your work, your volunteer work and your service work more efficiently and more effectively. That's my main vision and goal. And so would love to talk with you more about that, but I would love to see it, I would love to see us be able to make that happen. All right. Before we adjourn, I just want to, really reiterate a couple of points. First of all, I want to thank each of you for your continued commitment to Mended Hearts. I'm grateful for the work that brought us to the point where we are today. The organization exists because of people like you who choose to show up for others, to show up for patients, to show up for families, caregivers, and one another. And often during some of the most difficult moments in a person's life or a family's life. And so I want to thank you for that. As we move forward, our focus, as I've said already, is going to be on strengthening that mission, supporting our volunteers, our chapters, making sure that MHI is positioned for stability, service, and growth as we move forward. So I'm grateful for the foundation that we have that's been built, and I look forward to the good work that's ahead of us. With that, I want to thank you again for being part of the meeting, and I'm going to turn it back to Fred to adjourn us in this portion. Thank you.
On behalf of the board of directors, I'd like to thank everybody out in the field that does the real work, the chapters, the visits, the phone calls. You're greatly appreciated. I'd like to thank those that put together the slides and the information seen today. And I'd like to thank everyone who did the presentations. At this time, I will call for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Okay, if you'd please vote.
Aye.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Okay, we now go into an intermission for 10 minutes as we prepare for the awards ceremony. Thank you.
You're not too clear. I was like, how do you do that? Just tell me why.
Good afternoon, and welcome to all of those who are joining us today for our awards. We are so excited you could be here for the Mended Hearts Inc. 2026 awards ceremony, celebrating accomplishments from 2025. Everyone who is nominated deserves a huge pat on the back for getting us to where we are today. I'm Mandy Sandcooler, and I'm joined by Marley Lucas, and today we will be your guides through our regional, divisional, and national awards.
Let's start with some info for our virtual audience. You're all on mute, so we can't hear you, but you can express yourself through typing comments in the chat box. Things like amazing work, congratulations, and thanks for all you do are encouraged. The way you do this is to choose everyone from the drop-down menu in chat and type your comments in there.
These regional, divisional, and national awards recognize outstanding achievements. Every person, hospital, company, and organization, whether nominated or not, helps make our organization strong. These awards honor those who have gone above and beyond to support our mission of inspiring hope and improving the quality of life for heart patients and families. We are deeply grateful for all you do.
This year, we'll start with our national awards, the Corporate Award and the Mary M. Amato Student Award. Then we'll announce one award at a time with the regional, then divisional, then national winners. As a reminder, there are regional winners for each region where there was a nominee. From the regional winners, divisional winners were selected. From the divisional winners, national winners were selected. On behalf of our leadership and our staff at MHI, we would like to sincerely thank everyone who took time to submit a nomination form. We had many exceptional nominations this year, and our judges did not have an easy job. Now I'll hand it over to Natalie.
Thank you, Marley. Each year, the Corporate Award honors an organization that goes above and beyond in its service to the Mended Hearts, Inc. This year's recipient is a champion of collaboration and compassion. As a long-standing member of MHI's Corporate Advisory Council, they partner closely with us to improve the lives of those living with and affected by cardiovascular disease through dedicated education, advocacy, and peer support. Beyond their industry leadership, this honoree is deeply committed to global health equity and meaningful patient engagement. Through collaborative sponsorships and innovative educational programming, they work to improve health outcomes in all communities and consistently invest in patient well-being. The recipient champions organizations like MHI that support patients and families, work to improve access to care, and drive scientific innovation. The recipient of the 2025 Corporate Award is Novartis. Congratulations and thank you for the support you have given to Mended Hearts Inc. through the years. With that, I'll turn it back to Margaret.
The Mary M. Amato Student Education Award honors the important role that healthcare professionals play in caring for people with heart disease. It supports a student who has shown leadership, a commitment to healthcare, and a desire to help patients with cardiovascular disease and their families. Created to encourage future healthcare leaders, the award helps continue the mission of improving the lives of people affected by heart disease at every stage of life. The recipient of this award receives $500. The award recipient must be a family member of an MHI member in good standing who has been a member for at least 1 year prior to nominating someone for this award. The winner must have demonstrated a commitment to pursuing education in the field of healthcare. The Mary M. Amato Student Award recipient This year's Mary Yamamoto Student Award recipient has gone above and beyond throughout their nursing education, taking on a wide range of challenging clinical experiences. Their connection to Mended Hearts comes from personal experience. After seeing the value of compassionate peer support during their mother's heart journey, they understand how important empathy, education, and community are to healing. They bring these values with them as they begin their nursing career. They represent the next generation of healthcare professionals, skilled, compassionate, and dedicated to making a difference. This award recognizes not only their achievements so far, but also the positive impact they will have on patients and families in the years ahead. They will begin their career in the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit at Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C., caring for patients with congenital heart disease, heart failure, and other serious conditions. Their choice reflects both their clinical ability and their strong commitment to providing compassionate, patient-centered care. Please join me in congratulating our winner, Sophia Bertozzi. Congratulations, Sophia. We see you doing amazing things. Now I'll hand it over to Mandy.
Okay, so now we're gonna move to the awards that start at a regional level with regional winners. Then from those, divisional winners were selected, and then national winners were selected from the divisional winners. The first of these awards is our MIH Sydney and Helen Schumann Nurse Recognition Award. The prestigious MIH Sydney and Helen Schumann Nurse Recognition Award honors a nurse who has shown exceptional dedication to patients with cardiovascular disease and to their families and caregivers. The award recognizes excellence in patient care at every stage, from diagnosis and treatment to recovery. The national recipient receives a $500 award. To be eligible, the nurse must have worked in a cardiac-related field for at least 1 year, demonstrated outstanding care and commitment to heart patients and their families, and supported or promoted the Mended Hearts, Young Mended Hearts, or Mended Little Hearts programs to help patients receive additional support. And the Southwest Regional Mended Little Hearts Nurse of the Year is Rebecca Jones, BSN, nominated by Mended Little Hearts of the Fort Worth region. The Mended Hearts Mid-Atlantic region Mended Hearts Nurse of the Year award is Hazel Covington, who is an RN and nominated by Chapter 394 Mended Hearts of the Triangle. The Mended Hearts Rocky Mountain Mended Hearts Nurse of the Year is Alicia Glover, who is nominated by Chapter 322 of Coeur d'Alene in Idaho. And that takes us to the divisional award. And the Mended Little Hearts Divisional Nurse of the Year is Rebecca Jones, nominated by Mended Little Hearts of the Fort Worth region. On now to the Mended Hearts Nurse of the Year Divisional. We have Alicia Glover, who is nominated by Chapter 322 in Coeur d'Alene. And finally, now on to this very important award winner. This year's recipient has spent 7 of their 8 years as a nurse working in cardiovascular care, showing outstanding dedication to heart patients throughout that time. In late 2024, a chapter member suggested creating a single booklet that combined educational materials from every department involved in a patient's heart surgery journey. The nurse manager supported the idea and assigned the project to this recipient. Over the next year, they led the effort through multiple rounds of development, review, revisions, and approvals, including 7 departments. Despite the challenges, they remained committed and saw the project through to completion. Today, the 47-page open heart surgical guide is provided to cardiovascular disease patients at this hospital. The guide includes information from 7 departments and features Mended Hearts resources on pages 35 and 36. Their leadership and persistence created a valuable resource that helps patients and families better understand and navigate their care. And so, the recipient of the Sydney and Helen Schumann Nurse Recognition Award is Alicia Glover, nominated by Chapter 322 of Coeur d'Alene. Congratulations, Alicia. Thank you. And now, Marley, can you tell us about the next award?
Our next award is the Heart Hero of the Year Award. This award honors a person other than a nurse who has shown outstanding dedication to patients with cardiovascular disease and to their families and caregivers. The recipient demonstrates compassion, commitment, and exceptional care for patients while supporting the Mended Hearts, Mended Little Hearts, and/or Young Mended Hearts programs. Recipients must provide excellent support to patients and families throughout diagnosis, treatment, and recovery. They also promote peer-to-peer support and help empower patients and families through education and access to resources. Now our Regional Heart Hero of the Year awards. The Southwest Region Mended Little Hearts Heart Hero of the Year is Amy Fenn, nominated by Mended Little Hearts of Fort Worth, Texas. The Rocky Mountain Region Heart Hero of the Year award goes to Tom and Evelyn Nichols, nominated by Chapter 380, Boise, Idaho. Now on to our divisional winners. The Mended Little Hearts Divisional Heart Hero of the Year is Amy Fenn, nominated by Mended Little Hearts of Fort Worth, Texas. Our Mended Hearts Divisional Heart Hero of the Year winner is Tom and Evelyn Nichols, nominated by Chapter 380, Boise, Idaho. Now, our National Heart Hero of the Year. This recipient has been a valued member of their medical center family for 19 years, spending nearly 2 decades serving in the CICU. They recently moved into the role of Executive Secretary for the Heart Center Inpatient Director and CICU physicians, bringing years of experience, compassion, and a strong understanding of the needs of cardiac families. Even in this new role, they continue to fully support the Mended Little Hearts program, overseeing bravery bags and actively participating in the Cardiac Family Advisory Council. Their dedication to heart families remains strong no matter where they serve. They are a passionate advocate for patients and families, providing support that goes far beyond medical care. Every day, they work to ensure patients feel cared for not only physically, but also emotionally and personally. Please join me in congratulating our winner this year, Amy Fenn, nominated by Mended Little Hearts of the Fort Worth, Texas region. Now I'll pass it over to Karen to tell you about our next award.
Thank you, Marlene. The Hospital of the Year Award is a very important annual award that recognizes a hospital that has shown outstanding support for the mission and values of Mended Hearts, Young Mended Hearts, and/or Mended Little Hearts, through partnership with a local chapter or group, and by providing education and support to members and the community. Some of the criteria for this award are: provides our visitors reasonable access to patients and/or families for visiting or bravery bag programs, provides access to meeting space or other support for the chapter or group where possible, provides space for literature, visitor supplies, break-free bag items, or MHI educational materials, provides tangible recognition of MH, YMH, or MLH contributions to their patient and/or family care, including mentions in the hospital newsletter or on the website, and invitations to hospital functions to recognize MHI. Provides speakers, personnel for group or chapter meetings or other needs. Provides other in-kind support like printing, meals, meeting rooms, parking passes, etc. All of these things can make a world of difference to our chapters and groups. The Southwest Region Mended Little Hearts Hospital of the Year is Cook Children's Medical Center, CICU, nominated by MLH of the Fort Worth, Texas region. The Central Region Mended Hearts Hospital of the Year is Riverview Health out of Noblesville, Indiana, Chapter 350. The Rocky Mountain Region Hospital of the Year award goes to St. Alphonsus Regional Heart Institute in Boise, Idaho, Chapter 380. And now for the Divisional Hospital of the Year awards. The Mended Little Hearts Hospital of the Year is Cook's Children Medical Center, CICU, Fort Worth, Texas. The Mended Hearts Hospital of the Year is St. Alphonsus Regional Heart Institute, Boise, Idaho, Chapter 380. And now for the National Hospital of the Year. This hospital works with their local chapter by providing space and access in 2 waiting rooms for MHI visitors and brochures. It generously allows the chapter to reserve conference rooms for chapter activities, including continuing education and reaccreditation sessions when needed. Members and friends of the chapter are always welcome at health fairs and educational seminars hosted by the hospital. For the past 2 years, the chapter has also been honored to participate as guests at the annual cardiovascular symposium held each February. The hospital provides a staff person who coordinates with the chapter, a link on the hospital website, and speakers for educational programs. They also provide printing of the chapter newsletter and meal tickets for visitors. And the recipient of the Hospital of the Year is St. Alphonsus Regional Heart Institute out of Boise, Idaho, Chapter 380. Congratulations, everyone, and thank you for all you do to support patients, families, and the Mended Hearts Inc.
Now I'll tell you about the Newsletter of the Year Award. So the Mended Hearts Inc. Newsletter of the Year Award is given for the most outstanding newsletter to recognize a newsletter that best demonstrates excellence in educating and informing patients and families while connecting them with valuable resources and support. Here are just some of the many criteria the winning newsletter should include. Uncluttered and easy to read, correct use of MHI logos, balance of content with a minimum of 75% dedicated to health and heart issues, accuracy, good use of chapter info, regional and national information, a president's report, and having the newsletter available in a digital and online format. Now, our regional newsletter of the year winners. The Mid-Atlantic Region Mended Hearts Newsletter of the Year goes to Chapter 28, Richmond, Virginia, edited by Joe Shockett. The Central Region Mended Hearts Newsletter of the Year goes to Chapter 350, edited by Conan McDonald. Our Midwest Region Mended Hearts Newsletter of the Year is Chapter 424, edited by John Frank. Now, our Southern Region Mended Hearts Newsletter of the Year goes to Chapter 367, edited by Ed DeRocha. Now, on to our divisional winners. The Mended Hearts Divisional Newsletter of the Year is Chapter 367, edited by Ed DeRocha. The winner of this year's Newsletter of the Year award uses color and graphics effectively to capture readers' attention. The newsletter regularly shares heart health information researched by the editor. It also includes a message from the chapter president, membership information, and a meeting schedule. This newsletter combines a magazine-style 2-column design with full-page layouts. The photos and fonts are easy to read, and the front page cover highlights upcoming speakers or events. About 75% of the content focuses on heart health topics and includes links to our National Heartbeat magazine. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the National Newsletter of the Year, The Rhythm Section by Chapter 367, edited by Ed DeRocha. Congratulations, and thank you for keeping us all so well informed. Now, on to Mandy.
Thanks, Marley. So one of the key parts of our support pillar is our outstanding accredited visiting program. MHI Accredited Visitor Excellence Award recognizes a Mended Heart, Young Mended Hearts, or Mended Little Hearts accredited visitor who has shown exceptional dedication and service to patients, families, the visiting program, and the organization through in-person, phone, or online visits. Like in recent years, internet visitors and visiting chairs are also eligible for this award. The recipient demonstrates a positive and supportive attitude towards those they visit and works well with healthcare professionals. They are committed to growing the visiting program, increasing membership, and expanding the reach of MHI support. They also follow all visiting policies and requirements and show a strong commitment to serving patients, caregivers, and families. And so to begin, the Central Region Mended Hearts Accredited Visitor Excellent Award recipient is Maureen Price, Chapter 350 in Noblesville, Indiana. The Rocky Mountain Mended Hearts Accredited Visitor Excellent recipient is Barb Perry, Chapter 380 in Boise, Idaho. Moving to the Western Region now, the Western Region Mended Hearts Accredited Visitor Excellent Award is Werner Betcher with Coachella Valley 281, California. Now moving on to the divisional section. The Mended Hearts Accredited Visitor Excellent Award recipient is Werner Betcher in Coachella Valley, Chapter 281. Right. So the recipient of this year's National Accredited Visitor Excellent Award has been serving as a visitor since 2021. They are always willing to improve their own visiting skills and support other visitors by sharing ideas and experiences. They maintain a regular visiting schedule, willingly cover extra shifts when needed, and suggest ways to strengthen the program. This visitor shares hope, education, and encouragement wherever they go. They are compassionate and continue supporting patients through phone calls, in-person visits, and chapter meetings where they help members with their concerns. They also mentor new visitors and even set a chapter record with 22 visits in a single day. It's impressive. Okay, so the recipient of the Accredited Visitor Excellent Award, join us in congratulating Werner Betcher with Chapter 281, Coachella Valley. Thank you, Werner. Okay, I'm going to hand the mic over to Natalie now to present the President's Cup.
Thank you, Mandy. The next award is the highest chapter or group award possible for the Mended Hearts Inc. At the regional and divisional levels, this award is called the Group or Chapter Excellence Award. At the national level, this award is called the President's Cup. These awards are presented to the chapters and groups that have exhibited outstanding service and have demonstrated excellence in their commitment to and in the furtherance of the mission, vision, and values and goals of the Mended Hearts Inc. You'll see that qualifying for this award is not an easy accomplishment, and everyone who has won the chapter or group excellence awards at any level should be recognized. Some of the qualifications for this award are as follows. Must be a chapter or group in good standing, having filled out the annual report on time. Must have an active visiting program with growth in number of visits or an active bravery bag program or similar hospital support, or must support a bravery bag program in a group near them. Must participate in Mended Hearts, Young Mended Hearts, or Mended Little Hearts national campaigns and national events, and must have had growth in membership. Many of the chapters and groups that win an excellence award have also won awards in their local area and have been recognized in the media, by their hospitals, or in other venues. So without further ado, the Young Mended Hearts Group Excellence Award recipient is Young Mended Hearts of New England. Moving on to Mended Hearts Central Region Chapter Award, the Central Region Mended Hearts Chapter Excellence Award recipient is Chapter 350 of Noblesville, Indiana. Our Midwest Region Mended Hearts Chapter Excellence Award recipient is Chapter 424, Evanston, Illinois. The Western Region Mended Hearts Chapter Excellence Award recipient is Chapter 382, Bellingham, Washington. Moving on now to the Divisional Chapter and Group Excellence Award slide. The Young Mended Hearts Group Excellence Award recipient is Young Mended Hearts of New England. Our Divisional Award for the Mended Hearts Chapter Excellence Award recipient is Chapter 382, Bellingham, Washington. Now, for the Executive Director of the hospital that partners with this year's President's Cup recipient, Mended Hearts is considered part of the cardiovascular services family here and are a valued member of our efforts to care for heart patients and their families in our community. This chapter increased their visits from 1,700 to 2,600 over 2025. They've produced a video that introduces patients to Mended Hearts during cardiac rehab. The chapter has a mailing list of approximately 900 households. The chapter has established a speakers group to go into the community and speak at various events and participates in a local event with 2,000 athletes and tens of thousands of spectators. This chapter's membership increased by 33% in 2025. And this chapter also hosts meetings for both Mended Hearts and Young Mended Hearts. It's my honor to announce the 2025 recipient of the MHI President's Cup Award. Chapter 382, Bellingham, Washington. Congratulations to your chapter. Next, we have the Volunteer of the Year Award, and for that, I will turn it back to Mandy.
Okay, so for our final award, the highest individual honor in our organization, the MHI Volunteer of the Year Award recognizes a volunteer who goes above and beyond in supporting patients and families, advancing MHI's mission, vision, values, and goals, and making a meaningful impact on both the organization and the community. Recipients demonstrate exceptional dedication, commitment, and service while helping strengthen MHI and its programs. The criteria for this award are very demanding, making it a significant honor. Any volunteer who receives a Volunteer of the Year award at any level deserves special recognition for this achievement. The criteria for the MHI Volunteer of the Year award are as follows. Must demonstrate outstanding service in support of the MHI mission. Must participate on national or local committees, boards, task forces, etc. Must demonstrate work in communities to support cardiovascular disease patients and families. Must demonstrate leadership at a local or regional level. Must be recognized by hospitals or medical professionals for positive impact through MHI. Must participate in MHI national events, campaigns, or fundraisers, and must work to increase membership of MHI. Must be an active member in good standing, excluding staff and honorary members, and previous recipients are eligible for nomination 3 years after winning this award. And so to begin, the regional levels, the Southwest Region Mended Little Hearts Volunteer of the Year is Sarah Stewart from Mended Little Hearts of Dallas in Dallas, Texas. The Mended Hearts Central Region Volunteer of the Year Award is Marvin Norman, Chapter 350 in Noblesville, Indiana. The Mid-Atlantic Region Mended Hearts Volunteer of the Year Award is Kevin Houlihan, Chapter 200 of Northern Virginia. The Midwest Region Mended Hearts Volunteer of the Year Award is Helen Madden with Chapter 424 in Evanston, Illinois. And moving to the Rocky Mountain region, the Mended Hearts Volunteer of the Year Award there goes to Pat Toshkoff with Chapter 380 in Boise, Idaho. And to the Western Region Volunteer of the Year, that is going to Diana Conrad, Chapter 382 in Bellingham, Washington. Okay, now on to the Divisional Volunteer of the Year. For the Mended Little Hearts Volunteer of the Year, we have Sarah Stewart with Mended Little Hearts of Dallas. And moving on to the Mended Hearts Volunteer of the Year, we have Marv Norman, Chapter 350, Noblesville, Indiana. Okay, it's the big one. This year's National Volunteer of the Year has made a lasting impact on both their chapter and Mended Hearts, Inc. A member for more than 10 years, they currently serve as chapter president and lead their visiting program. They also design and maintain the chapter website and create materials used at the hospital and in the community. They actively promote MHI in their community and have shown great innovation by developing a free heart scan program and creating medical information cards for refrigerators and wallets. More than 22,000 of these cards have been distributed throughout their community. It is my honor to announce the recipient of the MHI Volunteer of the Year Award is Marvin Norman with Chapter 350 in Noblesville, Indiana. Congratulations, Marvin. Thank you for all you do. Truly outstanding. Okay, and with that, congratulations and thank you to all of the award recipients for sharing your time, your talent, and your volunteerism. We would not be where we are today without all of you.
What a wonderful ceremony. I hope you all enjoyed today and had the chance to see how many people and organizations make MHI what it is. These individuals give their time, energy, and dedication to inspiring hope and improving the lives of heart patients and their families. Today, we recognize many individuals, chapters, groups, hospitals, and companies for the difference they make. We also want to recognize the many others who were not honored today, but continue to make an impact by reminding people they are not alone, that we are here to support, educate, and advocate for them.
Without each of you, we would not be able to provide the programs and services that so many people rely on. We hear it time and time again. MHI volunteers truly make a difference. They provide support and education that impacts patients, hospitals, and communities every day. As we are reminded each year by Sherry Anderson, volunteers don't get paid, not because they're worthless, but because they're priceless. Thank you.
Thank you and good night.